Stop. Do not proceed with anything else now. If you are hearing this a few moments before the turn, or in the days leading up to the new year, understand. It is not a coincidence. There is a warning that needs to cross your heart before midnight passes like a seal. Because the turn is not just a calendar. The turn is a threshold, it is a passage. It is like one door that closes behind you, and another that opens in front of you. And when you cross with what is inside your chest, and inside your home. Few know that, when you cross the door of your home, you don't just enter a physical space. You enter a territory, a spiritual territory, and every territory needs to be guarded. There are houses that look normal on the outside, but inside carry a weight that no one explains. And whoever lives there gets used to the weight, calls it a phase, calls it tiredness, calls it a rushed life. But the body doesn't call it a phase. The body reacts, the body accuses. The body screams in its own way, broken sleep, irritation, lack of spirit, malaise that comes and goes, tight throat, compressed chest, heart racing out of nowhere. And here is the hard truth. There is a type of thing that enters silently, seems common, even beautiful. But inside, it opens a breach. And the breach doesn't scream. The breach whispers. The breach disguises itself as custom. When the breach remains, the body feels it first. Sleep begins to fail. The mind weighs heavily. The chest tightens for no clear reason. Irritation grows in what was once simple, and health begins to drain away slowly, like someone losing strength without noticing. You wake up already tired, as if you had run all night. You get mildly sick, but never fully recover. You start arguing over crumbs. You lose pleasure in normal things, and without realizing it, you enter a cycle. You try to compensate with goals, remedies, distractions, promises, but you ignore the territory. Listen carefully. Not everything can cross into the new year inside your home. Not everything deserves to be under the roof where you sleep, eat, pray, and live. Not everything is neutral. And I will not leave you alone in fear. I will guide you with clarity. I will show you in a practical way what Archangel Michael warns against taking into the new year with you, and how to close the door today before midnight. If this message is speaking to you, stay until the end. Because the third point is what most deceives good people. And when it deceives, it's not with noise, it's with normality. Breathe and be honest. Is there something in your house that you defend, but that drains you? Is there something you keep, but that sickens you inside? Is there something you call a memory, but that has turned into an open wound? Is there something you call protection, but that gives you discomfort? The spiritual enemy does not need to destroy a house to win. It is enough for him to have permission, and the most common permission is the permanence of what should have already left. And here Miguel enters. Miguel is not an idea, he is government. He is sword and discernment. He does not negotiate with darkness. He cuts breaches. He does not caress lies. He exposes. And when he warns, it is because the door is ajar. Imagine the scene, the house in silence, the turn arriving, the countdown outside, and inside, corners you avoid, drawers you don't open, boxes you push back, objects you look at and think, one day I'll resolve it. But one day doesn't cross into the new year. One day turns into delay, and delay turns into a breach. Today, Miguel did not come to scare you. He came to prevent you from crossing with open doors. Because open doors do not choose what enters, and when midnight passes, what is inside crosses with you. So do not treat this as a common video. Treat it as an inspection, as a guard at the door, as someone who does not want to enter the new year with the house in invisible war. Before I reveal the first thing to you, I need to give you an image that changes everything. Imagine a house with two parts. One part you call my faith. You pray there, give thanks there, ask there. And another part you call my life. You keep things there, tolerate things there, stack things there. When these two parts do not align, the house becomes divided. And a divided house does not sustain peace for long. It sustains tension. It sustains repetition. It sustains wear and tear. And wear and tear has a pattern. First it turns into tiredness. Then it turns into anxiety. Then it turns into conflict. And when no one understands why, it begins to touch the body. You don't need to agree with everything now. You just need to have the courage to look. And here is a quick discernment test. Do it now. No drama, just truth. Mentally go through the rooms of your house and answer, is there a place where you feel a tightness without knowing why? Is there a place where arguments always start, as if the environment inflamed? Is there a place where you don't sleep well, even when tired? Is there a place where you accumulate things not to touch? Is there a place you avoid opening because there is history there? If you answered yes to at least one, do not ignore it. This is a sign, and Miguel speaks through signs. Now, one more detail that almost no one perceives. The breach is not just bad things. Sometimes it's a good thing that turned into a prison. Sometimes it's something you keep out of guilt. Sometimes it's something you keep out of fear. Sometimes it's something you keep out of attachment. And when you keep it for these three, the connection becomes sick. The object alone is matter. It is the connection that weighs. It is the connection that traps. And what traps steals peace, and what steals peace over time touches the body. Therefore, Miguel will not discuss theory today. Miguel will give you a cut. Miguel will give you action. Miguel will give you a short step. And here is the threshold rule that you need to repeat like a refrain to maintain urgency. Before midnight. Before the passage seals. Before the new year amplifies. Before later turns into an entire year. You don't need to clean the entire house. You need to close the main doors. You need to remove from the altar what should not be there. You need to give governance to the territory. And when I say altar, and I am not talking about complicated religion, I'm talking about a place of prominence. Everything that stands out becomes a message. Everything that becomes a message becomes an atmosphere, and atmosphere educates the body. So let's go to the 3 points. 3 surgical deliveries, 3 things that seem small but command an entire year. And, for each one, I will give you an everyday image for you to recognize in 2 seconds, a consequence in the body for you to understand why it hurts, a question that doesn't let you hide, and a short step for you to act before midnight. Breathe once more, and let's go to the first. First, do not enter the new year with memories in objects that have become an altar of pain. I am not talking about a beautiful memory. I am talking about an object that has become a trigger, an object that when you see it, your body reacts before your mind. Your chest changes, your stomach clenches, your breath shortens, your hand sweats. You close the drawer quickly and say, "It's nothing." But it is, because the body denounced it. And these objects have common, everyday, almost innocent forms. It could be a piece of clothing, the clothes from the day you fell, the clothes from the day you were betrayed, the clothes from the day you received news that broke you. You keep it because it seems silly to throw it away. But it's not silly. It's a scene trapped in the fabric. It could be a gift. That gift you received with a smile. But that came with a demand. Or that gift that was a promise of the future and today is proof of frustration. You look at it and think, I should be happy, but I'm not. And the body understands that is a trigger. It could be a box, old letters, printed messages, gifts that came with a promise and ended with humiliation, photos that you say you keep just for history, but that pull you to a place where you should no longer live. It could be an what-if object, a kept wedding ring, a note, a memory of someone who is gone. And I know there is real pain there, but there is a difference between honoring and bleeding. To honor is to remember and move on. To bleed is to remember and go back. Now I will ask you as Miguel would ask, without beating around the bush, does this edify you or imprison you? Does this heal you or reopen you? Does this give you peace or steal your breath? You know, your body knows. And here is the blade phrase, what you don't let go of begins to hold you. What you don't end begins to command you. What you call memory may have become a door, because every time you pass by that object, your soul crosses the same corridor. And every time the soul crosses the same corridor, the body prepares for the same war. And a body at war does not rest as it should, and whoever does not rest loses strength. But that's just psychological. Yes, and psychological is also body. It is the nervous system. It is hormones. It is sleep. It is appetite. It is tension in the neck. It is bruxism. It is short breath. The environment touches this like an invisible hand day after day. Now, I want you to visualize a micro scene. You are about to sleep. The room is quiet. You look at an object on the dresser, a photo, a gift, a memory. You don't cry. You just sigh. And that sigh seems small, but it is an inverted prayer. It is the body saying, I am still trapped. And imprisonment does not let health flourish. Miguel does not tell you to hate the past. Miguel tells you to close the door. So here is the practical, short, and actionable step before midnight. Go to the place where you keep the memories that hurt the most. Don't open everything. Just choose 3 items. 3. A photo, a letter, a piece of clothing, a gift. Put the 3 in a bag. Hold the bag for 5 seconds and say aloud, I acknowledge what this did to me. But I no longer live in this. I close this door today. Take the bag out of the room now, no excuses. If you can donate it tomorrow, donate it. If you have to discard it, discard it. If it's a family item, store it outside the room, outside the altar, out of your daily sight. And here is the question that prevents you from cheating. Do you want to enter the new year asking for health? Or do you want to enter feeding the wound? Now, a detail that seems simple but is powerful. After removing it, do one small thing. Change an object's place. Move the dresser. Move the good photo to the bad photo's place. Change the position of your room, because external change signals internal change, and Miguel governs by signs. And listen to this. If you keep it out of guilt, it traps you. If you keep it out of fear, it traps you. If you keep it out of unhealthy attachment, it traps you. And what traps you drains you. The next is even more serious, because the second point does not seem spiritual. It seems just clutter. But repeated clutter becomes an atmosphere, and atmosphere molds the body. Second, do not enter the new year with things stopped, broken or rotting, because they teach stagnation. I will be direct. There is a type of weight that does not come from trauma. It comes from leftovers. It comes from accumulation. It comes from broken things that you tolerate. And silent tolerance becomes permission. Look at the most common examples. A stopped clock, a cracked mirror, a light bulb flickering for months, a broken fan leaning against the wall, a chair with a wobbly leg, a burnt-out appliance stored as, one day I'll fix it, torn clothes kept as to wear at home, a box of things with no destination, old paper, old wire, old device. You can call this disorganization, but spiritually this becomes an altar of later. And later is the language of the breach, because what you tolerate in the house, the heart learns to tolerate in life. And what the heart tolerates, the body pays for. When you look at a pile of broken things, do you feel lightness, or do you feel a discreet tiredness, as if it were already late? That tiredness is the soul trying to breathe. It is the body trying not to sink into stagnation. A broken thing leaning against the wall is a daily message of defeat. A stopped thing is a daily message of stuck. A rotting thing is a daily message of decomposition. And without realizing it, you begin to live according to the message. A common micro scene. You enter the house, see the light failing, and think later. You see the stopped clock and think later. You see the broken fan and think later. And you repeat this so much that your soul learns to live in postponement. Postponement turns into anxiety. Anxiety turns into tension. Tension turns into bad sleep. And bad sleep turns into a tired body. Miguel is not talking about perfectionism. Miguel is talking about order. Order is not a luxury. Order is protection. Order is breathing room. Order is a signal to the body that the territory is safe. Miguel's short step before midnight: choose a corner of the house that most shames you. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Remove everything that is broken and useless from there. Separate into 3 groups: trash, donation, repair with a date. If it's for repair, write the date and stick it on the item. Open a window for 2 minutes and say, I open space for life. I do not carry stagnation into the new year. A stopped clock teaches you stuck time. A cracked mirror teaches you wounded image. A failing light bulb teaches you unstable light. And the body begins to live according to this. Hammer phrase: a house full of leftovers creates a tired soul, and a tired soul leaves the body vulnerable. The next is even more serious, because the third point comes with the appearance of a blessing, and that's why it deceives. Third, Do not enter the new year with objects of dubious origin or dark connection, especially spiritual gifts. I will say this with respect and firmness, because here many people get lost without realizing it. There is a type of object that enters the home as protection, as energy, as luck. Sometimes it's a stone. Sometimes it's a symbol. Sometimes it's a talisman. Sometimes it's an ornament that someone gave you saying, "This will guard you." And you place it in the living room, at the entrance, near the bed, without discernment. And this is where Miguel cuts. Miguel does not guard you with an object. Miguel guards you with authority, with light, with government. What guards your home is the presence of Deus in the territory. It is not an item whose origin you do not know. And I know, you might think, this is an exaggeration. But listen, the problem is not the object. The problem is the door it represents. The problem is the connection it creates. The problem is the invisible permission you signed without reading. So I will ask you simple questions, and answer honestly. Do you know where it came from? Do you know what the intention of the person who gave it to you was? Do you know if it brings you closer to Deus or leaves you restless? Because when something brings you closer to Deus, it brings peace. And peace is a sign. When something does not come from the light, it brings restlessness. And restlessness is also a sign. Now, a common micro scene. You pass near an object on the shelf and feel a discomfort. It's not quite fear, it's an unease. You don't like to touch it, you don't like to face it, you leave it in a corner. But you don't remove it. That corner becomes an altar. And an altar does not need to be religious to function. An altar is a place of emotional prominence. What becomes loaded with meaning commands the atmosphere. And atmosphere makes the body live in alert. Therefore, Miguel does not ask you to enter into paranoia. Miguel asks you to exercise discernment. And there are two types of this third point. Pay attention, because here is the deception. The mystical or energetic object. Amulet, talisman, symbol, strange protection. Something you can't explain why you keep. You look at it and think, oh, it's beautiful. But beauty is not a criterion. Peace is a criterion. Origin is a criterion. Light is a criterion. The heavy gift object. It's not an amulet, it's a gift. But it came with envy, competition, irony, malice. You received it and did not feel joy. You felt a tightness. You put it in your house and did not feel peace. You felt tension. And I know this hurts because you might be thinking of a family member, a co-worker, someone who smiles but wounds. Miguel does not tell you to hate that person. Miguel tells you not to put into your house what came as a dart. Now listen to the blade phrase. What enters your home is not just decoration. It is a message. And a repeated message becomes an atmosphere. And atmosphere becomes body. Do you want a practical test before midnight? Take the object you distrust, or that gives you discomfort, and do this. Hold it for 3 seconds. If your chest tightens, if your breath changes, if your mind becomes agitated, note it down. It's not scientific proof. It's a sign from your system. It's a sign of your discernment. Miguel operates in signs, and I repeat, before midnight, because midnight seals what you tolerated, and what you tolerate crosses with you. So here is Miguel's simple rule, so you don't make a mistake. If it doesn't have a clean origin, if it doesn't bring peace, and if it doesn't bring you closer to Deus, it doesn't stay on the altar of the home. It leaves. And altar of the home includes the entrance to the house, door is a portal, the living room where the atmosphere spreads, the bedroom where your body surrenders, the table where your family gathers, the bedside table where your mind rests. Now, practical, short and clear action. Do it today. Gather in a bag everything of dubious origin or that causes you discomfort. Strange symbols, amulets, energetic gifts, items you received and never knew where they came from. Remove them from the living room and bedroom. Now, place the bag near the door as a sign of exit and say, in a low, firm voice, like someone signing a decree, I renounce every connection that does not come from the light. This home belongs to Deus. After that, take the bag out of the intimate territory. If it's for donation, donate it. If it's for discarding, discard it. If it's something you don't know what to do with, at least don't leave it on the altar. Don't leave it in the bedroom. Don't leave it at the entrance. And here is the question Miguel asks when you hesitate. Do you prefer to keep an object or keep your peace? Do you prefer to please someone or protect your home? Because some people keep things out of fear of offending, but your house is not a place for diplomacy with what weakens you. Your house is a place of guard, and I will tell you something that gives you courage. Deus does not ask you for fear. Deus asks you for truth, and truth reorganizes the invisible. If you are trembling, if you are insecure, do it in the simplest way. Remove it from the place of prominence. Remove it from the bedroom. Remove it from the entrance. When indecision weighs heavily, start with what you can. But start, because the new year does not respect later. Later turns into repetition, and now I return to the central theme: blocks health. Why? Because a house with a breach becomes a house under surveillance, and constant surveillance leaves the body tense, and a tense body rests worse, and whoever rests worse becomes fragile, and, when the soul becomes restless, the body pays the price. It's not that an object will make you sick like magic. It's that it sustains an internal state that wears you down. And this, day after day, is an open door to tiredness. Tiredness is terrain, and terrain matters. What Miguel wants to do today is simple. Cut off terrain of wear and tear. Close the door. Give governance to the home. The next step is the seal. Because revealing without sealing just becomes information. And information does not change life. Decision changes it. Now comes the turning point. The moment when Miguel stops being just discourse and becomes action. Because heaven does not work with "I understood." Heaven works with "I decided." Before midnight, do this with simplicity, without theatrics. Step 1. Positioning, governance. Choose a time today. Do not postpone. Stand in the center of your house, or in the place where you feel the most weight. Feet on the ground, shoulders straight, one hand on your chest, and say aloud as someone taking command of their own territory, "Archangel Michael, guard this home. I close every door that does not come from the light. I renounce what binds me to the past. I do not cross into the new year with a breach. This territory belongs to Deus." Do not shout, do not perform, just be firm, because firmness is spiritual language. Firmness is a sign of authority. Step 2. Sweep, discernment. After the declaration, walk through the house for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. No music, no conversation. Observe where your gaze deviates. Observe where you feel a hurry to pass. Observe where the air seems heavy. There is something to resolve there, and you don't need to resolve everything today, but you need to signal that you saw it. And here is a detail that changes everything. The enemy likes what is hidden. Miguel governs by what is brought to light. When you look with truth, you have already begun to close. Step 3. Cut, gesture. Now make a small but real gesture. Take a trash bag, take a cloth, take a shopping bag, and execute a simple cut of 10 minutes. Remove a memory of pain from the altar, the first point. Remove a broken thing from the altar, the second point. Remove an object of dubious origin from the altar, the third point. Just one of each. 1. Not 10. Because a small decision made today is worth more than a big promise made tomorrow. As you do this, repeat a short phrase. What weakens does not stay. What weighs does not govern. What does not come from the light leaves. Step 4. Breathing room opening. Open a window for 2 minutes, open a door for 30 seconds, and say, "Let the light enter, let the weight leave, let peace remain." This is simple, and that's why it works, because evil likes the complicated that no one does. Miguel likes the simple that you execute. Now, I need to give you a final warning so you don't fall into the most common mistake. Many people do a cleaning and then reopen the door the next day. Reopen how? By putting back the photo that bleeds, by tolerating the broken, by accepting a heavy gift again for fear of displeasing, by saying later again, by sleeping in the bedroom with weight again. So I want to give you a 7-day pact, the first 7 days of the new year. Write this in your heart. Do not take back into the bedroom what you took out of the bedroom. Do not leave at the entrance of the house what does not give you peace. Do not keep to fix without a date. Do not feed arguments in the same corner. Change the scene, change the place, cut the cycle. Do not use the new year as an excuse to start next week. Start today. When in doubt, repeat, before midnight. Every time you feel the weight returning, make the smallest gesture, open a window, move something, remove an item from the altar. Because health is not just the absence of disease, health is the presence of order. Where there is spiritual order, the body breathes, the mind rests, the soul aligns. Now to seal it, I will guide you in a short prayer. You don't need to invent beautiful words, you need to be truthful. Close your eyes for a few seconds, breathe, and repeat with me, slowly. Deus, I consecrate my house to you. Purify this home, cut every connection that does not come from the light. Restore my peace, guard my body, guard my mind, guard my rest. May the new year find this house lighter. May it find my heart firmer. May it find my family in peace. Amen. If you felt that this warning was for you, make a simple gesture now. Write in the comments, Miguel, guard my home. And if you can, share it with someone you love. Because often people don't need another goal. They need a closed door. Now listen to the last truth. Nothing ends in fear. Everything ends in redemption. But redemption begins with a decision that the body perceives. Before midnight, close. Before the turn, clean. Before the seal, decide. And may Archangel Miguel guard your territory, today, and in the year that begins.